Hey, Primal Punch here. Look, I'm not really very good at like scripting my videos. I just kind of give you what I got just as it is. So what I want to talk about today a little bit is post-traumatic stress disorder. Now I'm not going to belabor the impact that post-traumatic stress disorder has on a human person, on a human being. Okay? What I do want to talk about is how I have been able to lessen the physiological impact of post-traumatic stress disorder on my body using exercise, meditation, bilateral movement, and introducing the trauma slowly as I move bilaterally. The problem that one of the problems that we have with post-traumatic stress disorder, okay, something traumatic happens. Your best friend dies in your arms. You're beaten relentlessly by a parent, a caretaker. You're raped. You witness violence. Any of these things, okay, being neglected as a child can scar your psyche. That scar is post-traumatic stress disorder. That scar, or even a festering wound, it could be looked at as something that hasn't completely healed. Now, we have a learning mechanism. It allows us to not make the same mistake twice. You touch a hot stove, you get burned, that leaves a scar on your psyche. It's a learning experience. Now, you feel a surge of fear if your hand comes close to a hot stove, or like that. If you even think about putting your hand on it, you'll have that scar in there screaming no. That's a normal learning mechanism. That is survival. Post-traumatic stress disorder is a survival mechanism run amok. It's like being stuck on an endless loop of your hand on that stove. Right at that moment, that fear jolt, those lightning bolts of fear, just running, just zoom, 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 just slamming down our neural pathways and through the nerves in our bodies, jacking our heart rate up, kicking out all these fight or flight endorphins. All right, all these chemicals. All those chemicals have an impact on our organs. And a person with post-traumatic stress disorder or an anxiety disorder, panic attacks, you're at this just hella increased risk of things like diabetes, stroke, high blood pressure. Oh Christ, I can't even think of all of them right now. I get a little bit boo-ridely, but there are all these health problems. The physiological impact of post-traumatic stress disorder is just unreal. Okay, it shortens lifespans. The gift that keeps on giving. Now, we can lessen the impact that has on our body, and we can control or diminish, at the very least, the impact that trauma has on us, and we can even push back the flashbacks. We can increase our window of tolerance, so to speak. Alright? As our window of tolerance gets breached, something triggers, our window of tolerance gets breached, and then we start to red zone, and we reach this carved in stone pathway of behavior where we're going to now react in this way. We're going to knuckle up and throw hands. We're going to attack. We're going to run. We're going to curl into a ball. Whatever that fixed pathway of behavior is. But we can stop that, alright? Some of the physiological symptoms of fear, alright? And PTSD is fear-based. Not PTSD, but the reaction is fear-based. We're in fear for our life. We're fearing something, alright? And that can come out as anger. Anger is a secondary thing. Fear is a natural survival instinct, But when it goes crazy, it messes us up. So I should stay on point. Anyway, that fear. Alright? We've got to control that fear. Now, the easiest way, or the best way for me, what has worked for me, was to start working on those physical aspects of the anxiety, the fear, when that would start. Okay, abdominal muscles clenching up. Alright? Sucking in, breathing starts, heartbeat starts to go up. These are all, one thing leads to another. Alright? So, the first thing was to control my breathing and to loosen my abdominal muscles. Alright? Make sure they're loose. And the way I can make sure they're loose is by breathing in, you know, and letting my belly go out instead of just chest breathing. Alright? So it would look like keeping that loose. Long, even breaths. In through the nose and out through the mouth. There's just one simple aspect of it. It seems super simple, like big deal. But it is a very huge deal. Alright? Next is awareness of where we're at and everything. But now, I really just want to talk about my workout. And I named it the Zombie Fighter Jingo Workout because whatever, alright? I ain't writing ahead. But I'm actually just want to keep it simple and bring it back. And I'm going to change the name of it to just the Primal Workout. Primal Fitness, alright? The Primal Workout. Because that's what we're trying to appease here. Is the lizard brain, that primal part of ourselves. That's where PTSD lives, okay? And that's why it can grab hold and control so much of us. Because it's that lizard brain and it's tapped into everything. Alright? And we've got an issue here with left brain, right brain. Okay? So the right brain is, oh man, why am I spacing? Yeah, anyway, the right brain, I believe, is the creative side and everything, and that's where that trauma lives. And the rational side, I mean, the two halves of our brain are just connected by little bits of tissue. It's not a big pathway, and it can get clogged up, like when you're trying to use the internet at the library and 6 people are surfing porn, and you know it takes 12 minutes for your email to send. That's how that can get, especially in regards to trauma. So the rational side of the brain is trying to say, yo, it's alright, man. It's alright. We're not in danger right now. But that pathway is shut down, and bilateral movement has shown increased communication between the two hemispheres. It's like a mediator, alright, to allow those two sides to talk. That science has mostly sprung from this relatively new method of helping with PTSD, EMDR, eye movement desensitization and reprocessing. And this has come about by a lady named Shapiro, where she was feeling stressed. She's a psychologist, psychiatrist, something like that. Feeling stressed, she's walking in the woods, and for some reason her eyes are darting back and forth as she's looking at all the birds. And she noticed that she felt less stressed. So she started carrying out research, and there haven't been enough studies. So all we have are anecdotal stories, or anecdotal proof. Can't even call it proof. Anecdotes saying that there's been a lot of progress for a lot of people. I myself can attest to the use of bilateral movement. Not the eye movement, I haven't really tried that, but bilateral movement for opening up that pathway and allowing me to increase my window of tolerance. I'm able to go to Walmart without like flipping my lid, and starting to go red zone. That's huge progress for me. I was able to make it through community college, which, what? How big? So, my primal workout, alright? Primal workout is primal movements. These are fighting movements. This workout is also designed to target every muscle and build you long, lean animal muscle based on high repetitions and low weights. Alright, this is muscle that goes and goes and goes and goes, and can be used in complement with a heavy weightlifting program. It will aid in muscle recovery because it's pushing blood through, moving lactic acid through, and all those things. and increasing your endurance, so you've always got something in the tank. But the biggest thing for me was that it allowed me to begin to see what it's like to live a life like other people. Alright? Outside the chains of post-traumatic stress disorder. So when we're doing these movements, all these movements are bilateral. We're doing them equally with both sides, okay? And we're going to focus. These are things that I can't do when I'm doing the workout. So I'm going to explain to you what to do while you're doing this workout. I want you to engage the movements first, okay? And just be aware of your body. I want you to draw your navel back a little bit without tightening up your stomach muscles. I want you to still be able to be loose, alright? And we're going to control our breathing. Don't make your breathing match your movements. If anything, make your movements match your breathing. We want to keep our breathing easy and controlled, not the short, sharp breaths of someone who's trying to survive. Alright? So this first movement is based on a Tai Chi movement. And this is just designed to get our whole body moving together, alright? That first movement, alright? Now, once you've moved through the first movement and our second movement, then I want you to start allowing your trauma to come toward the edge of your tolerance. Start thinking about that thing. Now I want you also to remember that you should not do this if you haven't discussed it. If you're seeing a mental health professional, a psychiatrist, psychologist, therapist, counselor, you should discuss this with them first, okay? And because they'll know where you're at. And this is not for you to say, alright, I'm going to try this, I'm going to quit taking my medication and try what this dude's doing. Or I'm going to quit seeing a psychologist, psychiatrist, blah blah blah, and just try what this dude's doing. Please don't. Do this along with what you're doing, alright? And be careful, because you have to introduce that trauma slowly and then step away from it and slowly let it get a little bit closer. This is a process, alright? Because your rational brain is able to speak to the creative side, the side that is basically our inner child. As detestable as that phrase is, it's quite true. So, we've gone through our first two movements, right? And then our next one, we start going through and we're going to think about that trauma. Think about that thing. But think about it like over there, at the other side of the room, or a little ways away. And let it come a little bit closer. And maintain control of your physical response, okay? I would like for you to have been doing this workout for a while before you just jump in, so that you've got the movements down pat. So that you can fall into that routine, that repetition of the bilateral movements. Okay? So you fall into that routine and then you allow that to creep closer. And then when it reaches a spot where you're feeling like you're not going to be able to control your physical response, you're not going to be able to keep your belly somewhat loose, you know, you're not going to be able to control your breathing, then you step away from it and just do the movements and focus on counting. Alright? So that's how it works. It is that simple. Yeah, I'm not giving you this to for you to think that this is going to be a cure-all, but it's what has worked for me. My blood pressure's down. You know, I no longer have those adrenaline dumps sick. You know, I don't get that anymore. I mean, I have a lot more control over that physical aspect, and that has helped with the emotional aspect. You know, it has worked for me, and I hope that it works for you. Alright? Bilateral movements, you can look it up. EMDR, look up interhemispheric communication, and I would encourage you to look up the negative physical impacts that PTSD has on a human being, and that's long-term thinking, you know. So be good to yourselves. Live free and punch hard, okay? And I dig you. You be good to yourself, because you are worth it, alright? You're important. And I'll catch you later. Bye.